2000, Rare developed and released for the Nintendo 64 the video game of Perfect Dark, focusing on the main character of Joanna Dark, a special operations agent that discovers an alien conspiracy and saves the world from this otherworldly threat. Perfect Dark was a spiritual successor to the iconic GoldenEye, developed also by Rare for the Nintendo 64 in the year of 1997, which is now considered one of the most influential first-person shooting games to have ever been created. Plenty of officials and developers from Rare that worked on the GoldenEye game had returned to develop Perfect Dark, and one of the implementations were that the main character for the game be a woman, and also be partly that of a secret agent, much like James Bond or Pierce Brosnan, whom at the time was the actor who was portraying the British secret agent. In very early stages of the game, developers had considered making the main character of Perfect Dark as a male agent, but owing to the fact that at the time there weren't much female leading characters in video games, and the fact that a woman as the main character for a potential new franchise such as Perfect Dark might draw more attention to the game, as it later made a logical choice to go ahead with the implementation for a woman as the focus of the game. Joanna Dark's design and attributes were influenced by a number of women from film and television, as her haircut and facial features were also taken from leading United States actresses of the time. The name of Joanna Dark was also a variation of the iconic French heroine Joan of Arc. Not exactly desiring the character to be too feminine, attributes of Joanna Dark were slightly androgynous, but mostly normal in appearance in terms of a woman. Nothing too attractive, nor nothing too ugly, as the developers of Rare mentioned to sources. Even the voice actress for Joanna Dark in the game was voiced by a woman who worked at Rare at the time. During further development of Perfect Dark, the character was redesigned to slightly resemble manga or Japanese animated characters, which were slowly gaining more acceptance in Western media in the mid to late 1990s. Specific details were added, such as a tattoo on the left side of her neck, a blonde streak in her hair, and a choppy visual look to the hair as well. Even the length of her hair was changed from short and red to shoulder length and orange. The visuals of Joanna Dark changed multiple times, as the manga-based version of the character wasn't particularly well liked with test audiences and even developmental staff, as the fact that it was considered too Japanese or too Asian. Certain attributes were either changed, edited, or removed, and eventually settled on the final appearance that was seen in the game for the character of Joanna Dark. There have been many claims from the time of Perfect Dark's release and since that the character of Joanna Dark is essentially a secret agent version of Lara Croft, the Tomb Raider, but due to the fact that at the time there was not a lot of female characters for video games as mentioned, so the criticism or comparison between Joanna Dark and Lara Croft were mostly ignored. Soon after Perfect Dark was released, Rare had plans for another game called Velvet Dark for either the Nintendo 64 or the Nintendo GameCube, but the project was ultimately cancelled by Rare. The game of Velvet Dark refers to Joanna Dark's possible sister, who is the character that the player assumes in the role of the game's cooperative mode, but due to situations with Rare, the sequel was never implemented or created. However, after Rare was purchased by Microsoft in 2002, a prequel was developed called Perfect Dark Zero as a launching title for the Xbox 360 in 2005, but the game wasn't received well at all, and most fans of the game don't exactly accept the prequel in valid continuity with the original. Due to circumstances with Rare and video games now in modern gaming, even if a sequel, prequel, or even reboot is made, it would be possibly decades after the original Perfect Dark was released. Sometimes a character can be forgotten because fans remember the character, developers do not.